I want to cover another strange thing I heard about this gun. Now, a guy my father worked with, he shot bullseye. He didn't have a surplus 45. He had one, a newly manufactured one. It was specifically made for target shooting. And he said what he would do is he would reload his cartridges to where the gun would just barely work. He goes, it would work, but it wouldn't be hard recoiling, which target shooting, I can understand it. So he had a special little pet load. And now pay attention, he told me when we were shooting it to only put 5 rounds in the clip. Because he goes, if you shot more, the thing about this pistol, if you shot more than 5 rounds, it would overheat the barrel and destroy the accuracy because the barrel's so thin and flimsy and this and that. So whatever, it was his gun, we brought some ammo and he let us shoot it, so I didn't argue with him. And he told me that when I was a teenager. And years later, what I have here is I have how you would have this gun when we stood watch in the Navy. And I'll show you first my naval training. Went to boot camp, okay, and they had a picture, they showed you the gun, the diagrams of the gun and everything. And when we got done with the lecture, they had a bench and these boxes in them, and there would be an actual 45. And the way the gun was, okay, let me try to zoom in a little. Okay, the gun was just like this, locked back, okay? And they had the gun in a box and a magazine. And the instructor told us how this works. He goes, if you look at this, there's a part that sticks out, okay? This part that sticks out. This goes forward and down. And then he goes, be aware of that. So what he said is, go to the box, pick up the weapon, take the magazine, place it into the weapon, depress the slide stop, okay? Close the weapon, pull the trigger, dry fire it, pull the slide back, depress the magazine release, remove the magazine and the gun and set it back down into the box. That's all you had to do. And in boot camp, I was certified, and that is the extent of the training I got with an actual 1911 and 45 caliber. That was it. If I did that, I went. We went to an indoor range up there in Great Lakes, and we fired 45s with like a 22 ace conversion. And I think we fired so many rounds of 22 at a target. If you hit the target at all, whatever, you didn't shoot yourself or anyone else, you were considered weapons trained. And away you went. Okay, and that was it. That was the only firearm I handled in basic training or boot camp, and until I got on the ship. Now, my job below decks, I didn't have to go up. And in peacetime, in port, the only firearm that was out was exactly just like this. I have the exact rig we would have been issued. It's basically a web belt. It might have been white because of the white uniforms, but you had a web belt, you had the World War II leather holster, and a magazine pouch with 2 spare magazines. Now, the gun itself would be like this, no mag, okay? And what they would issue you for the quarterdeck watch is 2 magazines which would have 5 rounds apiece in there. So you had 10 rounds of ammunition while you stood guard duty in 2 mags. And an empty pistol. Now, you weren't supposed to be screwing around with the pistol, so you put the thing on, you wore it, and then when you had the change of the watch, okay, what you would do is you would take the gun, you would rack the action back. Sorry, my hand's a little weak. You would hold it open like this. You would look up, sure the weapon was cleared. You would show the man relieving you that there's not a round in the weapon. And he would say, okay. Okay? You would reholster the weapon, let him look and see that there are 10 rounds in the 2 magazines. Close the pouch. Both agreed the weapon's clear, the 10 rounds are there. You took off the belt, handed it to him, and off you went. Henceforth, the training that I had in basic training. Because basically, that's all you're doing is clear the weapon, show the other guy, reholster it. So, I understood the extent of my training. So now, after thinking, I'm sorry, I just got so much on my mind. That guy was a naval veteran that shot that gun. And that's when I said, why just 5 rounds in each magazine? Okay, never heard of that. But he said it was because the gun would overheat. Okay? And some of the other wild stuff I heard. You know, we talked about the grip safety. Now, this one guy showed me, well, you don't understand about this. He was the one that owned that Ithaca that couldn't shoot worth crap. He kept telling me that all the guns they had in the military were junk. And he said, if anybody ever pulled a gun like this on you, okay, what you would do is just take the heel of your hand. I'll show you this one. This is a good one. And just push on the gun. Just like that. Knock it out of battery. And he goes, if you got a hold of a guy and kept pushing forward on the gun with your hand, he can't shoot you. But if you got a hold of him and your hand on the gun, how are you going to knock him out? Okay, or what happens if he pulls his hand, pulls the gun away? But yeah, I've heard stories like that. Just push down, the gun is non-functioning. It's all you got to do. Push it out of battery. But I've heard some crazy stuff with this. All right. Okay, in conclusion, all right, I think everyone requested a video because on the YouTube gun community, we have a lot of these things where people like to complain and blow off some steam about things that piss them off. And doesn't matter, any guns like this pistol or the Luger or the Glock, you're going to have people that don't like them for some reason or do, okay? I guess they call them fanboys, or I call them, what the hell was I going to say? Fad guns. It's like, the 45 is the only way to go. It's an old design, it's a good design. It's reliable enough. Okay, the 45 ACP, I know some people, that's the only thing I carry, and a lot of people do carry this. Okay, it's not a terrible cartridge for defending yourself. Okay, and like I said, I'm proficient and know this gun. I would rely on it. Okay, but it's not the only gun. Okay, and I think what's going on is I see this like stereotyping that the older people like the metal frame guns and knock the polymer guns. My wife personally doesn't like the polymer guns because it is true that it stings her hands when she fires the pistol. Or something like this is all metal. For her, it's more comfortable to shoot. And she doesn't get to where she's anticipating or her hand hurts or she's, got her mind on something else other than firing the gun accurately. But to say that one group of people, and basically because of their age, and then they make fun of it like, oh, wow, and, their beloved 1911 and that. It is a decent gun, okay? So to knock the gun and the people that like it, it's you know, I do the same thing, say the same stuff about people that like Glocks, you know. Because I've heard weird things about Glocks and people, you know, you never have to clean it. That's bullshit. And then they wonder why they just fired 900 rounds out of it and one day it blows up, okay? So, in conclusion, well, I hope that's what you like. Those are some of the stories. It's kind of hard for me to put it all chronologically down and get it out in a video, but I've heard all kinds of tales and that. And it is an American classic. It's still an extremely popular pistol to this day with an awful lot of people. The 1911 and the 45 ACP. So if you guys want, the comment section is open, and go right ahead and, you know, put your stories down. Put some of the stuff you heard that you think's ridiculous, and go ahead and let's do that. And then I'll go on to another, the AR-15 and that story. And again, you know, it's all how it was introduced, and then the wild tales fly, and people really do have an attitude about it, and I understand why, okay? That's what I understand. It's like this here, the power, you know, it's always the power. This can stop a horse, this is a powerful gun, and all this other stuff, and, you know, that's how it goes. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned, and I'll try to make another one soon.